I was thinking earlier, with all this thing that is going on, all the violence and everything, more of the same, of course. I mean, we're very tempted to say it's more of the same, but it's not really more of the same to husband or wife or the child of the person that was killed. Ask them if it's more of the same. Um, it reminds me of a story by the late Ziegler. He says, was that him told the story? What I heard the story from? It's everywhere anyway. It's not his original. It was in, but I heard it somewhere. But anyway, I mean, this guy, his grandpa was, uh, say, was grabbing a bunch of, I think it was one of those sea snails or something like that. I forgot the name of them, the clams or whatever. That was on the shore, and they were. I mean, those that are on the shore outside the sea, they're going to die. And then he was throwing back on the sea, and then his grandson look at him and then ask him, "Granddad, I mean, with so many of them, you're not going to be able to save all of them. What difference does it make?" And he grabbed yet another one, and then it says. Threw it back on the sea. And they said, for that one grandson, it makes all the difference in the world. That's a powerful lesson right there. But at any rate, I mean, of course, I mean, we got to pray for the souls of those who die and then for our relatives as well, and that last shooting. But we are, since this has been going on for so long, we're so got used to it, as a society. Yeah, until we are the victims. So that's why the bottom line is never get used to it. Never, never get used to evil. Always fight evil. Always, always, always. It's like those who say, um, like something like, what would you oppose to legalization of prostitution and even marijuana, and all of those things. Although, I mean, some people go back and forth with the thinking of marijuana is just a cigarette or what have you. Uh, cigarette is bad enough anyway. But at any rate, I mean, things that a lot of people do, well, everybody does it. So that their argument is that if it's, um, if it's so common, uh, it's something that a lot of people do, then you might as well make it legal, right? Or if it's in something that has been going on for eons from the beginning of the world, or whatever, might as well legal. I always say the same thing. So is murder. In fact, murder was one of the first activities of human beings. When Cain killed Abel, I forgot which one it was. Yeah, Cain, I think was the one kill Abel. But anyway, whatever, whoever they were and whatever they mean. Anyway, the bottom line is that murder has always been around as far as we can tell, as far as history. So you see the same argument, you know, legalize it, legalize murder. Don't throw people to jail because of murder. What's the point? I mean, go ahead and knock yourself out. Kill whoever you feel like killing, and then you're not going to go to jail because it's not. It's always been around. This is a crime, but it's always been around. So actually, that's the point. Don't make it a crime. Yeah, it's legalize it. That's the same argument. It's exactly the same thing. So it's right there and then, that argument is thrown out the window. It's, you can see the stupidity of that buying the argument. No, I mean, you don't legalize something because it's always been around. Or because or you dismiss something as the shooting that took place yesterday, I think it was, in May. Because it happens so common this, that, more of the same. And then you see all these folks saying, ban no weapons, and all these folks saying, no, keep them legal, and blah, blah, blah. It's all the same. In that regard, if you look at it that way, yeah, of course. Until you realize that we're talking about killing a human being. And furthermore, until you put yourself on the shoes of the victim relatives or the victims for that matter, then all of a sudden it's not. It's the same thing with a common crime. Hey, yeah, someone else got shot, someone else got mugged. Something as simple as that. Someone you get mugged or you get beat up or assaulted or what have you. I mean, you hear someone getting okay, big deal. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I do it myself. I'll do it myself. No big deal. More of the same. Until it happens to you, like it happened to me not too long ago. Actually, something along those lines. I'm not gonna go over the details, but anyway. Um, then, oh, still right there, still right there. The back of my head and the front, on the top, and everywhere. And it's just like every time I think about it, I relive the whole thing. Something that someone else, not me, because it happened to me, someone else would look at it and say, in fact, that one wasn't even reported. That one wasn't even reported. I tried. So it was so lame to the world that I wasn't even allowed to report it. And yet it was something really bad. Again, I'm not gonna go over the details, but same thing, you know. So no, I mean, as Christians, we should always put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. Now, granted, not in everything. I mean, some things are really lame, like my looks. Look, I look old or ugly. Boo. Some things are like get a life. You know what I'm saying? No, some things. I mean, but like in that case, in that example, would be vanity. You're getting ugly because you're getting some wrinkles. Yeah, this is called age. We all have to go through that. You know. So, so yeah, you got to draw the line somewhere. Some things are plain and simple, even if they are a big deal to some people, and they say, okay, come on, man. Of course, I mean, at the same time, this doesn't mean that we are going to laugh at them or are going to mock them because of that. No, but at the same time, we're not going to. No, I mean, just get over it. I mean, yeah. Or even if someone something a little bit more, you know, um, intense, like someone broke your heart, you know. Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure that that's bad. I've never been in that situation because I couldn't care less, you know. Um, but anyway, but it's different. I mean, I'm not the universe does not spin around me. So I mean, I know that it's more important to some certain people, especially like for example, women tend to be more sensitive on that one, but some men as well. I mean, oh, it broke my heart. Oh, my life is over. This person, blah blah blah. Relationship, that type of situation, problems and everything. I'm not making light of it, by the way, or anything. I'm pretty sure it was important, and depending on what type, how close the relationship was, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's hurtful. I mean, I'm not denying it hurts. It's just that all I'm saying is you need to get over it. There are many other people out there. Need to get over it. Now, when we're talking about the death of a relative, that's different. I mean, even though at the same time you had to move on at some point, right? And then trust the Lord, and after all, we all have to die. Yes, but the pain is real. So, but I mean, someone broke your heart, what have you? Which, by the way, doesn't make any sense to me. Break heart. But anyway, whatever. So get over it. There's a ton of peoples out there, and yet how many people committed suicide or murder and suicide? Oh golly, on that, or worse yet, murder children and then commit suicide. Oh, because of that. See what I'm saying? That's what you got to draw the line. I mean, on that one is plain simple stupidity. But when it comes down to empathize, if you will, with murder or someone, or someone, I guess, assaulted or done some harm, real harm, that's different. Um, no matter how common it is, because unfortunately it is, but anyway, I mean that's what I was going with this. I was meditating about that. The other thing, the other flip side of the coin. Well, no, I'm saying flip side, but the other side of the coin, if you will, or the other side of this that I wanted to talk about this incident is the fact that how fleeting, and this precisely is really kind of related, but it's looking at it from another angle. How I mean, it could how I mean, you all know you're gonna die, right? Oh my God, don't say it. And that's my point. A lot of people that you say, oh, God, man, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. I call it the ostrich effect. It's digging your head in the sand, thinking that I don't want to hear blah blah blah. It's like the ostrich digging your head in the sand, you know, and pretending that by that way it's gonna be fine, and the fact of the matter is that um, you are well gonna die, right? So now, of course, I mean you're not gonna be thinking about it every minute. And by the way, I mean that's another thing. I mean some people can overdo it, but for the wrong reasons, you know. Now, yes, I mean you as a matter of fact you should think about it every day, but you should do it the right way. It's not a you see that's it's like two people doing the same thing, but for the opposite reasons. One of them is one of them is perfectly okay, and it's what we're supposed to do. The other one is the opposite. You should not do that. So, in other words, if you're thinking about the imminent, unavoidable, final breath that we're all going to take sooner or later, um, guaranteed, um, and it depresses you, then something wrong. That's not the reason why you should be thinking about those things. But if you think about it from the point of view of to remind you, don't get too attached to the things of this world, because at the end, that's not what we're here for. This is just a spark, a fleeting event, the beginning of our existence, which is most of it is going to be an eternity, which is what the real thing is, what the most important thing, the reason why we're here, the reason why we were created, what we came to be is for eternity. Now, of course, you have to be a believer in order to think that way, but then again, the sun is still going to shine even if you believe it, even if you do not believe in the sun. So, I mean, that said, I always say this regardless. I mean, I don't care whoever doesn't believe. That's their problem. Let them fix it. I cannot fix that problem for them. That's a huge problem. Again, the ostrich effect. Pretending that's not real, that's fable stories, like that. Uh, like some fairy tales, you know, and it it doesn't mean it's not true, right? It doesn't mean that your existence actually continues after you're gone, and it's gonna be most of it because that's forever, forever. I mean, those who say, "Oh no, after you die, it's just like that's it." You never existed. Basically, it's just basically that's it. You know, I mean, even those folks who believe this. So I mean, they at least they must acknowledge that those who are no longer in existence, according to them, have been in that state a whole lot longer than the fleeting moment that what they were here. There you go. So even then, I should have acknowledged that far. So that fact. So I mean, if you're gonna know that you're gonna be in that non-existent state, more than so, what do you think is more important? But then that's what they say. Oh, the more important part is where you exist, right? And that's where you're gonna make a difference, right? Well, of course, I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint, but then again, I mean, you know, your death particles can be used for something, and there you go. Your apparent non-existence might be more relevant in that regard. But then going back to reality, which is, of course, I believe, right? Oh, there is an eternity, and there is that. That's the um, that's most of your existence is going to span an eternity. That is a fact. That is the truth. We cannot use a laboratory in order to prove that. It is not in the material world, it's in the spiritual world, but it is a fact. We have to go to faith, which is the next higher level of our plane of our being. You know, we are the lowest level is the flesh. Then the kind of in between, in the middle level is our brain and intellect, and then of course the highest level is the spiritual, the faith, the one that is based on the faith. So the first one is the one that all living beings go through, right? And it is experienced through the senses of the flesh, right? Five senses, whatever. I forgot the number, but you know, smell, sight, hearing, and so on and so forth. So all of us, including this lower species, you know, the animals, um, will go through that. Then the second level, which is intellectual one, or although some people say animals, also they have that one. So maybe to a certain degree they might have. But you know, I always tell them, okay, all this animal fanatical kind of people, you know. And I'm not talking about loving. You can love all the animals you want. That's not the issue. The issue is that you make it look like they are as humans. And oh yeah, they also so think. Oh, they also feel. And they also, you know. Okay, all right. Whenever, go ahead and find me a society, so to speak, of animals that have progressed throughout their uh, history, so to the point that they are doing things much better from a technological standpoint, at the very least, than their predecessors. You find me that species, then I'll say, okay, wow, you're right. Until then, ain't convincing me. No, the fact of the matter is, animals they do not have intellect. Period. No, they do not have feelings either. You know, we attach our feelings and reflect them on animals, but they don't have it. And the same thing with the intellect. No, I mean, so they only stop on the senses of the flesh. Then the intellectual, which is even the most diehard, blind atheist, acknowledge that that's a level that belongs only to humans. So that's higher. But then there's the third one, which is the one that they deny. They have the capacity, but they deny it. But of course, we believers accept it, embrace it as well, which is the spiritual level, which is for us the most important one, because that's you're going to spend a whole lot more time in eternity than here. So therefore, going back to you know what I was talking about, uh, that is why we have to meditate upon things that are going on right now. I mean, all this shootings and everything that's going on, and I ran out of time, but in the next one I'm going to expand a little bit more about that. You know, uh, we need God. Definitely, we need God. Definitely. Even the atheists acknowledge there is something out there that is not filled by pills, psychiatry or psychologists, let alone food, drink, or what have you. Little toys, all properties, and everything, money. Only God can feel that. And that's what we need. And until we get back to Him, we're never going to be satisfied. Focus on eternity. From that, when you look at and think about the final departure from that standpoint, of course, think about it every single day. Because when you think about it that way, you do it the right way. In other words, you do it in from a framework of hope. See, it's the opposite of those who think about that from a framework of, oh God, we're gonna die, oh, we're gonna die. See, those are people that are hopeless. They don't have hope because they don't have faith. But when you put the faith ingredient in the whole thing, then you think about it from a standpoint of hope, and then you will say it along with my friend, my dear friend, one of the people that I admire the most in this life, and I'm talking about historically speaking. She's already gone, physically anyway. Saint Teresa of Avila, Teresa de Jesús. She used to say, "Vivo sin vivir en mí y tan alta vida espero que muero porque no muero." I live without living, within myself, and I hope for such a high life that I'm dying of not dying. I leave you with that meditation, and God bless.